doing another Champions League video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to drop a like as well as that subscribe button. All that great stuff. Save, watch later, notification bell, share. And without any further ado, let's get right into it with reacting to Group A. So Group A was an interesting group. I predicted it as follows right up on the screen. Liverpool, then Napoli, then Ajax, and then Rangers. And I'm kind of pissed at myself for getting this one wrong because Napoli were just so dominant. I know they only won the group on goal difference, but still, I feel like that's a big mistake there. But anyways, Liverpool showed some real dominance matches 2 through 5 of this competition, and it was really boneheaded at the end to put Napoli in second place. I should have known better. But Ajax were okay. They lost all their big matches, won both games against Glasgow Club Rangers, really tend to struggle a lot, but they still, all in all, had a decent, solid campaign, and not too bad. Let's see what you can do in Europa League, Ajax. Looking forward to see the firepower you can put out on the pitch there. But, yeah, that's Group A reviewed. And now moving on to Group B, I predicted first place Porto, second place Club Brugge, third Atletico, and fourth Leverkusen. Porto wound up topping the group with Club Brugge second, Leverkusen third, and Atletico missing out on Europa League. I knew Atletico weren't going to make it out of the group. It's really a weak team right now, and under a manager's tactics always just plays so defensively because he was a defender, and that's what he was told when he was young. But, yeah, Atletico, real bust lately the last couple of years. Really disappointing team. They're not the same Atletico as they used to be. They're a bad team in my opinion. They can't do anything right, honestly. And it's not looking good for them in La Liga. I know currently third place. But Betis is breathing down their necks in La Liga. It's looking to be quite a challenge for them. Can they keep up? Can they do this? I'm not 100% sure whether Atletico Madrid can do this. I'm thinking that they can't because this is just really struggling. Club Brugge put up great fights. Towards the end, they tend to slip off as they beat Porto 4-0, but then lost them 4-0. Super exciting matchups there. Porto dominant, won their last 4 games in the group in order to tap it. It's coming off from last after match day 2, and then top after match day 6. And it was just a dominant display by the Portugueses, playing extremely well out there, doing absolutely fantastic. It was amazing. And it looked just to be a fantastic run in the UCL for Porto. Let's see what they can do in the knockout rounds. By the way, so many teams in knockout rounds that haven't been there in recent years, to be completely honest with you. We already have Napoli, Porto, and Club Brugge going to the knockout rounds. And that's going to be super exciting to see. Leverkusen put up decent fights from here to there, including a win, but really not enough to get them out of the group. We weren't really that close to Club Brugge or Porto. And in the end, this was just clearly Porto and Brugge's group. From a weak Atletico and Leverkusen side, it just wasn't enough to get the job done, and they wound up getting 3rd or 4th place in Europa League for Leverkusen, and nothing for Atletico Madrid. Moving swiftly and smoothly on to Group C, as I predicted, first Bayern, second Barca, third Inter, and fourth Pilsen. This group was pretty hard to predict. Bayern was an obvious first. They're way better than any team in this group by far. I don't want you doubting that. Barca just struggling mightily, including a loss to Inter Milan. Otherwise, they would have been tied. Only it would have went down to goal difference. Inter, I predicted them in 3rd place. They wound up in second, including that win over Barcelona, and Pilsen losing all 6 matches. One of the worst Champions League displays of all time, only behind Glasgow Rangers this year as well. A negative 19 goal difference, scoring some goals against Bayern Munich, 2 against Barcelona, doing bits here and there, but it wasn't enough for the Czech man, and it was a failure in the end, a bust of a campaign. Inter did very, very well to get to their 2nd consecutive Champions League group stage, get past the group stage for the 2nd consecutive time. Impressive performance there. It was really looking good for Inter, and it turned out to be good towards the end. Props to Inter Milan for showing their fight and courage to get past there. Real GGs to them. They did extremely well. And Barcelona just flopped. They flopped. It's the downfall of Barcelona, as Thog didn't put it best. It's a real downfall. It's not looking as good. It's really not anymore. It's looking to be a real downfall for Barcelona. This is not looking good if you're a Barca fan. This is looking very poor and weak, in my opinion. It's just not very good. So that's where Barcelona end up, and that's where they end up. Bayern Munich, I mean, this is an obvious first. Maximum points, 13 consecutive Champions League group stage wins, and 3 straight Champions League group stages unbeaten. 3 straight group stages without a loss. That is absolutely bloody fantastic. Bayern could go on to win the whole thing. And yeah, that's just going to be it. Could knock out Benfica later in the tournament. But, I mean, that was just something else from Bayern Munich. Amazing Champions League performance. It was absolutely fantastic from them. It was just utterly amazing. Now moving swiftly and smoothly once again on to Group D. We have Chelsea, Milan, RB Salzburg, and Dinamo Zagreb here in Group E. We're going to get to Group D in a second. I predicted the group as follows in the correct order, which was Chelsea first, AC Milan second, RB Salzburg third, and Dinamo Zagreb fourth. And so that was as the group went. Chelsea, obvious first under Graham Potter, a very dominant side, showed their performances, smashing AC Milan, putting up amazing fights here, amazing fights there. It was really amazing, doing absolute bits. It was fantastic for them. A great Champions League campaign and turning around the form in the Premier League. They lost the Graham Potter derby to Brighton, but it's still a very successful campaign in the Champions League, including 4 straight wins to end it all. It's looking very good to be a Chelsea fan at the moment. Very sharp performances, all in all, from the Blues. AC Milan performed well, lost twice to Chelsea, dominant against RB Salzburg and Dinamo Zagreb. Played very well against those teams, in my opinion. Very, very strong performances. They should not be ashamed. They should feel like they did a good job, which is what they did. Exactly that. A very strong performance, and props from AC Milan, showing the performance that they have. All of Olivier Giroud, absolute beast. De Ketelaere, Fikayo Tomori, doing absolute bits, as I've already said. Playing fantastic. Amazing performance by AC Milan. Absolute props to you guys over there. Now Chelsea, RB Salzburg put up a great performance as well. Absolutely fantastic what they did. No doubt about it. Amazing performance by Salzburg, beating Zagreb, drawing with Chelsea. The fact that they drew Chelsea is something else. A strong Chelsea team under Graham Potter is hard to get a draw out of, which is really impressive. And it's just a fantastic result. It's looking really good to be a Chelsea fan right now at the moment. Very, very sharp performances from Chelsea. But RB Salzburg put off good fights. Noah Okafor looking very, very sharp. And it's just going to be absolutely fantastic to see how they perform in the Europa League. I think that they'll do very well, and see how they do is going to be something else, because this team has been on absolute fire. It's just been doing amazing. Salzburg eating up the Austrian Bundesliga like it's nothing. And now putting off good fights in the Champions League. I know they got third place, but still. Now Dinamo Zagreb got that win against Chelsea to open their campaign, but nothing much after that. It was a pretty weak fight, not really getting anything out of it. But that's what they did so far with that win against Chelsea. And they got a little to make their fans proud and happy. It was a good showing from the Croats, but not enough come the end, where they will be stuck in fourth place and go home and look forward to the derby with Hajduk Split, because they're going to be playing in the Croatian League and no more Europe for them this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get back to the Champions League again next year. Now moving on to Group D, we have Tottenham, Sporting, Marseille, and Eintracht Frankfurt. I got the first one right. I predicted Tottenham first, which was good. But then I predicted Sporting second, they were third. Marseille third, they were fourth. Frankfurt fourth, they were second, which was not great. But at least I got some of these right. I'm impressed for myself for getting a Tottenham right. I mean, not really impressed at all, because that was easy. Tottenham better not bottle this, I was thinking to myself. And they didn't bottle this. They showed some fight towards the end there. Did a really incredible job. But besides that, they didn't. These other teams, like Sporting, had a great start to the Champions League, including beating Tottenham at the, I think it's called the Estadio do Dragão in Lisbon, Portugal. Impressive performance there. But again, besides that, not much towards the end of the campaign. Didn't do too much Sporting, but I think they'll pick it up in the Portuguese league with players like Marcus Edwards, Paulinho, Pedro Gonçalves, Sebastian Coates. A good manager at Sporting has, and I think they'll do absolutely fantastic in the Portuguese league. Maybe top Porto, but probably not Benfica, because they're playing this so well right now, including in the Champions League. It's looking absolutely fantastic for all Portugueses, for the big three, Porto, Sporting, and Benfica. My favorite team in Portugal, Benfica. As a Portuguese speaker, a partial Portuguese speaker, Futebol de Portugal é fantástico, because that's what it's looking like right now for the national team and these clubs. But moving on to Marseille, they're putting off good fights, including 2 wins against Sporting. But in the end, it wasn't enough, as they dropped down to 4th place and missed out on Europe altogether. Not the greatest showing, but not the absolute worst showing, as it could have been bad. But Guendouzi is playing absolutely bloody fantastic right now. He's having a campaign to truly remember and take with him to his heart. It's been absolutely fantastic for him to have such a great campaign in the French League and currently in the Champions League. Eintracht had a boring start, not that great. We're looking like they'd probably get 3rd or 4th, but then towards the end, turned it up, turned on the gears, going in to first gear with the fight that they had, the fight of the Eintrachtians. Is that even a word? Well, I made it one now. Looking really impressive, Eintracht Frankfurt towards the end, putting off some great fights, and I'm really excited for them, see what they can do in the knockout stages of the Champions League. We all thought that they might just drop the Bundesliga altogether and put all their fight towards the Champions League, but it looks like that's what they're going to do, and I was a fool for putting them in 4th place. So far, out of the 20 places. Let's see, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 16 places correctly predicted. 11 out of 20, that is. So having a decent start thus far. I still could have done a little better. Yeah, 11 out of 20 isn't too bad, but hopefully we'll spruce things up a little bit. Moving on to our next group, which we have Real Madrid, RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk on a neutral ground, and Celtic Glasgow. Celtic finished 4th in their group, not doing too amazing. And it just wasn't a group to remember for Celtic, truly. Not the best of performances of the Champions League campaign. It was definitely pretty weak. They could have done better, showed a little more fight into it, Celtic. But I think they'll do better next time and put more fight forth towards their Champions League hopes and do better, definitely, in the future. Shakhtar Donetsk had to play at Warsaw, neutral ground, for obvious reasons for the war in Ukraine, especially there's a lot of hullabaloo going on right now in Donetsk. So they had to play the neutral ground, putting up good fights, nearly beating Real Madrid. They should have, if not for an Antonio Rudiger screamer. But then they played well. It wasn't enough towards the end. But it was a good fight put off by Shakhtar. I think they'll continue on this good form later into the year. RB Leipzig, fantastic performances, beating Real Madrid with confidence, 3-2. 4 straight wins to end this group. It was amazing, truly amazing. Absolutely bloody fantastic performances. Just like Porto, started off with 2 losses but won the next 4. Absolutely fantastic performances by Leipzig. It was amazing. By Russian ball sport Red Bull Leipzig. Absolutely fantastic performances, and I've said multiple times now. I know I sound like a broken record, but Leipzig was doing absolutely amazing, and they'll continue to do so throughout the German league and throughout the Champions League as they make it to the knockout stages of the Champions League for the first time in a while. Real Madrid, we all knew they topped the group. That's kind of boring with other players. So let's just move on to the second to last group where we have Manchester City, Dortmund, Copenhagen, and Sevilla. I should have known that Manchester City were going to draw Dortmund and City beat them, but I still put them in first place and got that as a correct prediction. So at least I got that one right. Dortmund in second. I knew that was kind of obvious. I put Copenhagen third place, but I shouldn't have done that. I was trying to go for the upset there, but they lost to Sevilla. Otherwise, they would have been, if they just drew that game, in third place, got into the Europa League. Sevilla I put in fourth, but Manchester City, absolutely fantastic campaign. So impressive from them. They really couldn't have done any better than what they just did. Absolutely bloody fantastic performance. Dortmund, amazing, except that loss that they had towards the end to Manchester City. Copenhagen, not that great. Drew 3, lost 3. Impressive for getting those draws, including one against Manchester City, one against Sevilla, and one against Dortmund on the final day. But it wasn't enough to get them even to Europa League. I mean, imagine if they did that thing where if you finished fourth, you could get Conference League and still continue in Europe. That would sure be cool. But anyways, let's move on to our final group with the PSG, Benfica, Juventus, and Maccabi Haifa. I predicted PSG first. They would have been first if it wasn't for goddamn yellow cards or whatever it was, because that just makes you upset there. Otherwise, I would have had our third perfect group, and it would just, that would have been nice, wouldn't have been. But Benfica, the Portuguese, is topping the group. I love to see it. My favorite team in Portugal, the team I was rooting for the most in this whole competition, topping the group. You love to see it. PSG second, I should have known. Juventus third, obvious. Maccabi Haifa fourth, obvious. But cherry for Maccabi Haifa with that penalty against Juventus to equalize. Before Juventus scored penalty against Benfica. Before Benfica scored 5 unanswered beautiful goals. Then Rafa, Rivaldo, Araujo, and many more. João Mario in the party. David Neres playing absolutely fantastic. Rafa Silva, Gonzalo Ramos, all on absolute fire this competition for Benfica. Juventus disappointing under Allegri, including a loss to Maccabi Haifa of Israel. PSG absolutely fantastic. Just lost the group on the final day to Benfica, topping it on yellow cards or whatever it was. Yeah, but that's what I have to say about the Champions League. Now it's time to count up the correct spots. I have 2 groups where I predicted 4 out of 4, and I have the correct places out of 32. Group A, I got 2 out of 4. And then I put another 2 in for Group B. Group C, another 2. So that leaves me with a total of... I can't do math, so, I know a little. So that gives us 6 out of 12. Then we add up to 10 out of 16, 11 out of 20, 15 out of 24, 17 out of 28, and 19 out of 32. Pretty solid predictions there. Let's see if I can do better next year or the World Cup. I wonder what I can do. But 19 out of 32 was the final score. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like as well as that subscribe button. This may be my longest ever single video. So if you enjoyed, make sure to put forth the likes. And if we can get 2 likes in this video, I'll do my round of 16 predictions once the draw comes out. Bye-bye. See you in a while.